What is up, y'all? We just beat the Wizards, and we are now 5 wins in a row. And I am pleasantly surprised because, come on, who would have thought we were going to go 5 games without a loss? 5 against tough competition, I was a bit worried about Beal, picking up the pace. I was worried about Montrez. Trez is going to bully us again. Maybe he'll drop like 25 on us. Who knows? But you know what? And also, of course, Scotty isn't playing. That got me worried. I legitimately thought that we could have lost today. It was very possible that we lost tonight, but we did not. We persevered and got the W. Now, Captain pulled us along. Fred got a huge game tonight. We wouldn't have won tonight without that Fred, and we needed that Fred tonight. If it was the Fred from the early games from this season, we would have lost for sure. But it was interesting just to see how well we would do in terms of guarding Beal without Scotty and guarding Trez without Scotty. We've always faced against Trez before, and we never had Scotty. So, it's not like he was going to for sure destroy us. But it was a real issue when we did play them the last couple weeks. It was an issue. But today it felt a lot less of an issue. He did the last few, the second half had some weird calls, for sure. Especially the fourth quarter. It was a very strange time. I don't know. They were just blowing whistles a lot. I believe it was like 22 to like 10 or something like that. It was crazy. It was weird. But I'm not the type to complain about refs unless it's like blatant, terrible calls. Or just like, come on, like, are you blind? Come on, let's just review it. But, we still made it through. Even with those calls and the game getting tighter and tighter, we kept the stranglehold. We didn't loosen the grip. No, we somehow kept in the game. And by Fred dropping those mid-range shots that I'll talk about later on, or OG just stepping up to the plate and draining those threes, or just OG playing in general, offensively amazing. And Gary didn't have a great shooting night in terms of his percentages, but he still had 15, and defensively clutch. Now I did realize a little something about Gary. Everyone knows this. He does risk it quite a bit, right? So, and he is successful, so you kind of look past that because he risks things and he gets rewarded most of the time, but he still risks it. So he leaves the guys open, and he also gets called for reach-ins. Tonight he got called on reach-ins. I personally think some of them were not, but that's out of his kind of control, because the refs are going to be like tonight, the last quarter, they're going to blow the whistle because he's playing such aggressive defense, and sometimes it's not going to work out. And you know what, I don't mind at all, because seriously, every time I see Gary against the guy who has the ball, or even just a passes it and he's nearby, I feel like Gary has a hand on the ball, like almost a steal, and which ends up being a steal anyway. But that's Gary. Now let me get into the takeaways. Now the first thing is Fred really has gotten into the mid-range game. We've seen it for the last couple of games. We've seen it for sure. We've seen him try shooting it. He's also been passing it a lot in that area, but we wanted to also see the mid-range shot. Like, can he make those jumpers? And tonight he was making them jumpers. Like that weird double dribble, not called, fortunately, and he banks it off the glass. That was pretty nice. But like, he gets good separation, and kudos also to this the screeners. Like Ken sets really good screens. Like, I feel like better than Precious. Just that might be just because Khem has been in the business for so much longer than Precious. I'm sure Precious will learn one day how to use his body correctly, because he has a big frame, right? And Precious can, and he's decent at setting up screens. But Khem, I feel like, has it, like, got it down to a science, and that helped a lot for Fred to get those mid-range shots. And I want to keep seeing those mid-range shots, because NBA teams don't defend that shot enough. Like, Fred will get that shot every game, you know. Like, it depends also on which team he faces, right? So it really depends. But most of the time, if it's against a smaller guard or, you know, a mismatch, he'll be able to drain that mid-range. But all I want to see is more of that, you know. I don't mind if he, you know, misses, but I do want to see a high volume of those. I don't mind him passing it out. I like that too. You know, he'll go dribble around and then pass it out to OG, drains the three. Definitely see that all the time. But those mid-range shots, I'm confident in his ability. Like, I'm good with him taking those shots. You know. Second point, Svi is a dangerous cutter. He cuts a lot and well, and he has good timing and good placement. Like, he knows when to be around. Kind of reminds me, like, I do this every rap cap, but I'm gonna say it again. Reminds me of Utah. Like, Utah Watanabe also is a dangerous cutter. He always cuts in. You know, he's always running around. I feel like Utah. Svi, he runs around a lot less, but he still cuts in. But he cuts in more, I would say. I don't know about efficiently, because I feel like Utah and Svi are on the same level for cutting in, but Svi, I feel like Svi has a better finish than Utah, and people definitely know that Svi can shoot the three ball. So when he gets space, right? He'll have space to just fake the shot and then drive it in, and he can dish it out, and that's one of his offensive threats, right? That's what we're known to see. But we've also seen nowadays how, you know, someone passes it to Khem, and Khem holds the ball up in the air, and Svi just runs in through the middle, and Khem just does an easy pass, right? Nothing too hard, just a simple bounce pass, and Svi gets it, lays it up, and he's a quite good. He's athletic. He's a good finisher. So Svi usually finishes those, and even if, like, I remember when Gary, he got blocked off. He had no other option, and Svi just cut in. Gary just made the pass, and there it is. He laid it up. I feel like Svi also has some, like, a dunk every game just from those cuts. But I like that. Like, I feel like Svi is really pushing Utah out of the rotation if he plays like this. Like, can you imagine if Svi wasn't there and Utah was there? Do you think he'd be starting? I don't think so. I don't think Utah would be, you know, if it was reversed, right? If Svi was injured and Utah wasn't injured, right? Would Utah be starting in these games? I'm not so sure. Now the third point. Tonight was another game of Birch was better than Achiuwa. Now, I'm not hating on Achiuwa. I like the guy. He's 22. He's a young guy. He's gonna learn. He has a lot to learn, shall I say. He's gonna have some bad games. Everyone knows he's having a bad game. He's been having bad games. But, he had some flashes of decent plays, But the thing is, I remember Achiuwa. Well, okay. Well, everyone remembers this. That dunk was. God, I have to brush my teeth. That was disgusting. My mouth is just filthy from just even speaking that dunk of that dunk. That was disgusting. That dunk, that was one of his highlights. He also had a couple blocks. Not too many, I think 2, seriously. But there was one huge block that he did. Now, after that block, he got subbed off, and Birch came on. Birch got passed in the paint, and he made a easy, just one of those easy shots, right? He just floats it in. 2 right there, instantly. Wizards ball, they push it up, they lose the ball. Same thing. Fred goes in, passes it to Khem. Khem does an easy 2. There's 4 points right there. Simple baskets, right? Simple baskets. Got them both in. Wizards call a timeout. To defend against Birch, because they clearly were not planning to defend against him that well, or they thought it was just another Achiuwa, right? Well, I'm sure they knew he wasn't Achiuwa, like in terms of, but they didn't properly plan against him, and it just seemed like Achiuwa, who just had that. Finally, you were like, oh, finally he got a block. He's finally doing something in the game. And then he gets subbed off, and you say, okay, well, let's see what Birch can do. Can he pick up the pace, can he pick up like how he was playing earlier on? Yeah, he drops 4 points immediately. Opposition team has to call a timeout to figure out a way to stop that play, and it's just that continuity between those guys made it so apparent that Birch is better at this moment, like by a lot. Not just offensively, you can sure, Birch isn't that much greater. He's more efficient by far, finishes it well by far, but defensively he's even doing better than Achiuwa. Setting screens much better than Achiuwa. Even those little things, right? And he's even been getting hands. He's been getting, deflections. I feel like a lot, and he's been getting steals for such a big guy. Not such a big guy, but you know what I mean. Like as a center, he's been getting a hand on these balls. And how many more games does Achiuwa get to start until we give Birch the starter minutes? Well, he is already getting starter minutes, but when does he actually start? I don't know if that matters to Birch or Achiuwa even, but I mean, if it doesn't, then that's fine, right? As long as both guys can get better. Well, hopefully, I mean, if you want to see Achiuwa get better, hopefully he just gets better on his own, or we have to switch them out, and then Achiuwa maybe 6-man is a better position for him. Maybe he'll excel at that 6-man position. We'll have to see. Only time can tell for Achiuwa. Now the 3 usuals. Best performance: Fred VanVleet. Is there more to say? He saved us. Dropped some mid-range shots, dropped some threes that were crucial. Defense, his first, I swear, the first play in the first quarter, first play of the game, he had he stole it. I swear he stole it, or had a deflection or something. That's Fred. That's freaking Fred. Not much more to say. He was the captain. The captain got us the win. He was vital for us, and it's good to see Fred come back. He knows he's been struggling in a couple of games, not all games. He's played some good games, but a 30 game, that's always gonna boost your confidence and get you going to the next game. Because these away games are tough, right? Physically and mentally. So a win like that with a game like that, great for Fred. Great for Fred here. Now the worst performance, Precious Achiuwa couldn't finish it for his life. I feel like I could have finished it with my hands tied behind my back, eyes folded. It was just, I don't know what more, like, confidence or motivation. I'm sure he has confidence and motivation. It's just he's just in a slump, I guess. And honestly, the best way to get out of that slump, I guess, is just to play it out. But we can't play him out in NBA games, right? Like, that's too risky. We want to win. If this was a tanking season, low key last year, we're just like Aaron Baines, the tank captain, then sure, put on Achiuwa for 28 minutes. Put him on for 35 minutes. Who the hell cares? Draft some, draft another Scotty Barnes, right? But no, we want to win games, so we're not gonna put Precious for those amount of minutes, unless he does get better. But what to do? Now, sixth man performance was Khem Birch again. That man is playing for his contract. That man he wants to stay in Toronto. Like, he's excelling. He's finally been given a chance to play his potential, and he's grabbing that potential by the throat, man. Like, he is like, I want that right now. And he's an old head, kinda. He's been in around the game for a long time, and it's time for him to solidify that he is an NBA player. And I think he's doing that. He is giving Precious a lot of trouble, and it's healthy. What would you rather have? Khem Birch not playing up to his potential and Precious also in a slump? No, I'd rather have Precious in a slump and some guy named Khem Birch playing well. Mediocre to well. It's never bad. It's mediocre and good. He's always in between that line. That's all I can ask for from Khem Birch. Like, if you ask, I'm sure, some random team's fan, and they're like, hey, you know what team Khem Birch plays on? They will have no idea. If they say, if you tell them, oh, Toronto Raptors, they're like, oh, that makes sense. Right. But, I hope Khem Birch keeps playing like this. I don't know when, but I'm sure it will happen. Khem Birch will start over Precious, and we'll see what that catalyze, will that be the catalyst for Precious becoming better or back to form? Will that be the catalyst for Khem just going Vegeta and just becoming better than Goku for a little bit, and then we'll have to see. But for now, let's just enjoy the fifth winning game in a row. 4 wins away from home. These Raptors are different from the Tampa Bay Raptors. Don't forget that.